So for the time being, you're on your own.
Unless we start a revolution.
If the locals want to help, great. But my agent is there for one reason: to stop the blackout attacks.
When Crackdown 3's campaign opens, you're stranded on an island just outside of New Providence, a futuristic city that's mysteriously still standing and full of glowing neon lights, despite rampant blackouts around the globe. I had hoped that once I'd selected my agent, obviously I went with Cruise's Commander Jackson because how could you not, I would immediately make my way for the big boss's tower, smack dab in the middle of the city. But going for a swim towards the downtown district revealed a giant force field around New Providence. Gaining access to the main gates, however, was simply a matter of taking down a propaganda-spouting goon in what is essentially a flashy tutorial area. Once I dealt with the doorman and his guards, I laid eyes on the towering fortress of Elizabeth Niemand, head of the insidious Terra Nova Corporation that held New Providence and its city in an iron grip. Just as Ganon awaits on top of the iconic Hyrule Castle, Niemand's stronghold is always staring you in the face, no matter where your agent is wreaking havoc in the city. Microsoft Studios' Joseph Staten says there's no linear quest. The game design and story is just waiting in the background to see what you do, and then presents itself as you poke certain things in the simulation. A more traditional path through Crackdown 3 involves taking down Niemand's 3 captains in charge of her defences, who each in turn have their own cronies that are all dead set on taking you down. Staten explains they all manufacture a set of defences for the main boss. So there's a guy named Quist in charge of logistics, robotics and transport. And if you don't kill Quist before you go and attack the main boss, all of their robotic forces and all of the turrets will still be active in his tower. I found that out firsthand. My starter weapons were but minor annoyances to the missile launching defenders stationed around the tower's base, and it took little more than a rocket or two to blast me to smithereens. Fortunately, you can always revive at one of the easily unlocked strongholds. Merely figuring out if it's even possible to jump your way up is a fascinating, exciting endeavour full of platforming conundrums. The gaps and platform heights of the tower are clearly designed for agents who've collected orbs to increase their agility and in turn their maximum jump height. But even with level 1 legs, it's still very possible to clamber your way up higher and higher. Crackdown 3's agents can't climb up sheer walls and cliff faces the way Link does, but if you jump towards the wall at the right angle, you can shimmy up a bit before launching into a double jump. And with careful and clever use of this method, you can slowly but surely make your way up each structure, like a giant series of stepping stones to Niemand's domain. It also helps that she had ledge-hanging enabling notches built into the side of most of her skyscraper. What few enemies I encountered during my climb were way stronger than me, so it was always best to flee rather than fight. But sometimes you've just got to live up to Crackdown 3's power fantasy and blast everything in sight. If you do manage to take down a lone enemy while their allies aren't looking, you can permanently add their weapon to your spawn-in loadout. So once I lucked into a rocket launcher dropped by a dead baddie, I had the means to brute force my way through some swarms of enemies. And when you respawn, your weapons replenish their ammo, even though nearby enemies retain their damage. Between my immortality and an infinite supply of rockets, even my level 1 agent had the means to take down late game enemies. And with the scattering of checkpoints, you won't have to start the climb from scratch when you inevitably die to a missed jump or a bullet to the head.
Heal up. You want to keep fighting?
I did eventually meet an obstacle I thought would be the end of my journey. Plumes of poisonous green gas, which could kill me almost instantly, spewing into the only path forward. But after I tried and failed to find a way round, Staten kindly tagged in to show me my salvation. Though he definitely acknowledges it's a cheese, it's possible to simply tumble your way to safety thanks to the invincibility frames of the spammable dodge roll. With a series of quick somersaults, Jackson was able to get through the gas unscathed. Alas, even with the discovery of a workaround for the toxic gas, the inescapable obstacle that is time put an end to my ascension, as my hands-on demo came to an end. But attempting to scale the final boss's building at the very start of the game was invigorating in a way I just hadn't felt from Crackdown 3's marketing, despite the fun, chaotic nature of its over-the-top destruction. I can't wait to see what dedicated speedrunners will do with that kind of freedom, and who knows, maybe I'll take another crack at the tower at some point. You can see if you're up to the same task when Crackdown 3 hits Xbox One and PC February 15th.